because it is a time of celebration, but because we have Melissa. That word around that really has impacted everybody. So I want to use this opportunity to be able to share on where foreign languages are, kind of what we have done together, Lamonia, and Mary, and Elaine, and Halsh and Gallimore, and those that are not here, because this is not a one-man's game. And a lot of hands have come into this pot. By means of doing that, we want to end up our today. We're looking at that little corner, and you can deviate the camera to the where I started putting some items just to bring to the table the main topic of the session, which is Melissa's relief for our foreign language teachers in the North Coast. So I am so honored to have today Mary Griffiths and Jane Perry, the presidents of ANPE and JAF. And you can say hello to the camera. But guys, I have my baby daughter, the one that is taking over, the lady that is being proud today after 5 o'clock. There she is, La Mulatísima. And then we also have Halsh and Gallimore, who is a veteran in the whole process. Yes. So, because Jadane came to us on time, and he only has up to 12 o'clock, we need to stick to time. So work with us as the day flows. I think that you need to be on that corner so you can capture their faces. You need their faces. And in that way you cannot see neither Jadane nor Mary. Sir? Now, welcome, welcome, welcome. I attended the Spanish Day at the school. I've been seeing your work. Merrick has grown under my wing, and he's my male son. So working in family it is even easier and better.
So, sorry, folks are from KB, some publishers.
Yes.
Oxford.
Yes, I know they came to me. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I have to.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. Yes. And we were speaking on our phones about the importance of being able to do something. Melissa came, did what it did. The country is in a very critical situation now. And we have lots of colleagues, starting with Mary himself, that lost his roof. Colleagues have lost everything. So the suggestion was, by speaking to you and speaking to him and speaking to others, that we would like to create a small team, not to make it too big, American, too complicated, but a small team led by the association. And it has to be led by the association because you know that the ministry will have certain protocols in terms of going out there to really accessing funds and all that. So through the associations, it should flow easier to be able to put together assistance for our teachers. There are two main categories. On one side, we have the personal one, the items, the toilet tissue, drinking water, second-hand clothing in good condition, and all that. But we have another category, which is the professional one. Our teachers have lost their tape recorders, their computers, their cells, their working material, their printing material. They have lost a lot. So the intention is that by speaking to suitable stakeholders, we can come together and say, and this is my recommendation, but it's not carved in stone. My recommendation will be, let us look at December to make the first donation, because even when salaries will be paid next week, you know that teachers need a little time to put themselves together. So my recommendation would be, let us make a first donation in December, let us make a second one in March, and let us make like a third one in June, July. So whomever cannot come on board now can come on board later and will be in a position. Some of the schools are so damaged that we know that it will take 6 years, others 1 year, others a little more to be fixed. So in a nutshell, that is my message. Let me now listen to you guys, because you're going to be the ones carrying this mission along with Ramonia and the Ministry of Education. We know that there have been some irregularities out there, so how it should be done, even when it is through the association, should be coordinated with the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. It should be. And then the authorities and whomever in Montego Bay or Trelawney or Hanover, wherever we are going to be going, will need to be told that we are coming, so protection is provided, because there have been one or two incidents already. That is, I guess, common sense. Let us listen to you now, because you came far to be here. Adelante.
Okay, so where that is concerned, I was in a meeting with the French ambassador, the director of the Alliance Française, the French Alliance, and some other stakeholders to discuss the same topic as it relates to MoESYI relief. Coming out of the meeting, there is a special fund from France, FEF. I don't remember what it stands for off the top of my head, I can search for it. But it's basically a fund to support our French teachers, but it's earmarked to support them in terms of educational resources and not humanitarian resources. And so I was tasked to write a letter to Paris to request that more funds be earmarked to support teachers, not just educationally, but because of the impact of MoESYI, some more funds could be allocated. However, before I could do that, I need to be able to tell them the extent of the damage that has taken place, what are the needs of our teachers, of our students, of our schools. However, the issue is that I don't have this information. I'm not able to reach the teachers on the western side and find out what are their needs, etc. At the time, it was even dangerous to drive down there, so I guess now things are getting better, so I could probably go there at a later date now. But the issue is really communication and finding out the information. For example, on my draft team, there is a member that is from the western end of Jamaica, and she's an integral member, but I'm not able to reach her, and she's the one that helps me to coordinate and to reach that side. So even on my very team, I have someone who's affected, and I can't reach. And so I want to give the aid, I want to write letters, do all I can, but I need the statistics, I need the information so that I can move
It is
forward.
quite interesting what you have said, because right on your left you have one teacher who has suffered in his own skin and flesh what is happening. And it is also excellent that once more the embassy has stepped man. They do not miss a chance to help our teachers, and that is excellent. But I think that I would like to listen to what Eric has to say.
All right, so unlike Jadine, I would not have managed to reach any of our embassies as yet. Unfortunately, I'm from the area affected by the connection, so I have to travel at least 20 minutes from home to get that little connection. But I could represent the teachers that you're unable to reach right now and give you an idea of what the situation is like in the West. Immediately following the passing of the hurricane, a number of us were without roof, and that is those of us who would have had a concrete structure and zinc roof. So once you have zinc roof, or even the metal shingles, as it were, they were removed, some to a lesser extent based on design. But what we found was that, especially for those of us who inhabited board structures, in most cases it was completely demolished. So there are a number of persons still living outside. The challenge though right now for us, the telecommunications providers, they're working hard and we can't say no, but the restoration of connectivity is not as far reaching as some persons would assume. So for major townships have connectivity, but for the others there isn't. The situation in Westmoreland right now, Negril would have connectivity, Savlamar would have connectivity as to the major hubs, but outside of those areas, we probably head into White House or Belmont and we find a little connectivity from Digicel but not Flow. and it's a little pitchy patchy. So now we are going to have to look at what really is the situation. I don't want anybody to cry. We're surviving. It's hard, but one of the challenges, one of the things we must get in all the donations we're getting is water. Because if I were to tell you that lining the corridor coming from Montego Bay through Harlow, coming through Petersfield Waterworks there, the entire area where the water table is, there are dead cows rotting, and the river runs right across the pasture. So we've had to purchase water for drinking purposes, and because we're cooking and it's boiling, so we pray God that it works, and we believe. And we add bleach and other disinfectants to the water to ensure that we don't end up with any contamination. So the drinking water is going to be a huge situation. Then you are going to have to look at now access to food. One of the things we experienced in the West was the price gouging to such an extent that persons who had a little money after the hurricane to remedy their situation, it was rendered half effective because a sheet of zinc, which probably say 16 feet long, which was about 5,000, and it became 7,500 in a matter of days. And the prices kept on climbing until the police went directly to some areas and started to inquire what the prices were. That was my experience. I have the receipts. The challenge I find, even with food, the Ministry of Health issued an advisory that we're to be careful of tainted meat and so forth. We really have no idea how to track this. And unfortunately, I was poisoned by canned food twice. So you are going to find that in as much as we try to offer relief, then there are still other factors that might present themselves. So, and how then can we present relief that is substantial? Right now, the current aid that is coming, and let me hasten to say, we are not ungrateful, but the packages that are currently being distributed, if the natural size of a Jamaican household is 3 or 4 persons, what comes in some of those packages will only last a day. So you feed me today, I'm in the same situation tomorrow. And that is why you hear of persons on the radio talking about persons begging and waiting on the distribution, because what is being distributed in the small bags can only last for a day, if so much, because you do know that some households are more than 5.
I have a recommendation in that sense. Number one, there are lists that were prepared by other groups that are collected, and right now there are many agencies in Jamaica working on the relief. I know that they're watching the seminar. They take time. My recommendation will be 1, jointly to create a listing. Secondly, some of us to travel down there and see and talk to as many teachers as we can to kind of complement the listing and take pictures and touch with your hands the reality. And that should be done. Guys, my car with the toll is 9,000 going and coming. So I am willing to go with whoever wants to drive, and I will pay, I will assist with paying for the toll. No, it is serious. Because if you're going to be serious about money, you cannot be squandering money.
No, the South Coast toll is cheaper.
Yes, that is a next thing. Still, no, let me continue. I believe that for us to be meaningful, we need to listen to the people. We cannot be coming from top down, very importantly. We need to go there and explore while funds are received. We need to create a plan that will also give you where the stuff is going to be stored and how. Because even in the case of teaching aids, if somebody gives you all this, but it doesn't say grade 1 French, or grade 3 Spanish, or grade whatever, so we need to establish a whole bunch of standards and then communicate with the persons how it will be done, where things need to be taken to, and when are the dates that we are working. But I believe also that if we have specific dates and deadlines to cover, persons will be a little more informed. We are not perfect. and we are not, hurricane specialists. But in the process, we learn, and always we'll be making recommendations. Now, the one-off is not going to help. That is one of my concerns. And also, not everybody will be ready to help you by the time you are requesting. Which is why I believe that if we have, huh? Okay, so I believe that if we have like 3 different dates, there are then 3 different opportunities to be able to help our people. Actually, when you go the first time, you may even discover things that you did not know before. And when you go the second time as well. In all this, it is better to do than to do nothing. It is better to go out there and assist our people. Of 7 regional, the country is divided in 7 regions from the standpoint of the Ministry of Education. 3 main regions were badly hit, but then we have 4 regions that were moderate or not that bad. So there are always going to be persons who will tell you, I cannot help with money, but they can provide you with teaching aids and stationery and writing paper and markers and who knows, a tape recorder. So by preparing the listing, I want to make it become an exercise, a vocabulary one. All the listing must be in English and Spanish and French. English, Spanish, and French. And then it is done on the net. We collaborate and we talk. You will identify that something is weak and you will say, hello guys, we need to improve this side. We can do this here. We can do that. But for the teachers, and we know that teachers are very specific persons, and adelante, aquí llegó Cuban Embassy. Hey, very good, very good, very good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gracias. No vienes hablando.
Tuvo una reunión de último momento.
Bueno, siéntate aquí, no hay problema. Para allá del lado, si tú quieres, al lado del francesito, no hay problema. Madame Chi, this beautiful young lady that looks like a high schooler, she is our Cuban consul at the Embassy of Cuba. Yes, Annabelle.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and she has been amazing. So Annabelle, let me tell you what is happening. He has to run back to classes. He's the president of JAF, the Jamaica Association of French Teachers. So because he has to run, we agreed to meet a little before. So in his case with Nerik, that you know her.
Yes.
And Nerik is the president of Then Halsha Gallimore, she is the VP at Caribbean Training Institute for Languages. And let me put it in plain words. It is the independent institution from where I completed my research because it gave me the coverage and the space to be able to do it, and she's a VP. And then the Embassy of Cuba has been one of the main embassies, the leading embassy supporting us in this project. Because at the end of the day, what we wanted to do was achieve. Prevent people from coming from the street into the classroom by empowering them with English and protecting our children. That is the case. So I feel bad that you may have to tell me, Martha, I have to go, and you are about to say that. But how do you feel about this conversation? Because what we did there is we put some items, just that when we send the information out, and Eric is very good with all that, persons can be invited to dialogue. Remember, our teachers are not easy people. They are not people that we can just come and push anything on them. No, no, no. And on the other hand, there are other things that we were exploring. Like, let us say, if I am not here, I know that Eric can, which is we have a whole bunch of doctors and nurses. We can't go into every neighborhood because there are no roads. But if we go to the Cuban Embassy and we say, on a set day, when we go to Montego Bay, can we have some doctors and nurses to come and do check blood and cure a wound or bring some antibiotic cream? It will definitely help. No, you know that my people are wonderful. Please and thank you. But we need permission.
Awesome.
But we need permission. Because things like that you cannot do on your own. So I went into my Cuban community. A Cuban man can do a minimum of 8 jobs. And I'm not lying, she knows that. Carpenter, architect, engineer, electrician, plumber, Lord Jesus. So I am speaking now to 2 or 3 of them, and I said, we cannot do everybody's roof back. But if we could help 2, if we could help 3, if we could say to the person, you get the material, and we come and work in your place, and do that, it can also change the lives of some. We cannot do everybody. So these are the things that I want to leave on the table, so when we meet in future opportunities. All what we have to do is come to terms with what can be done and what cannot. I believe that the blood pressure checking is very important. That is my reading. I don't know who the person is.
Julie.
Julie. What happened, baby? You can join us, please, and thank you.
This evening.
But here is already the Cuban embassy. Come and sit down because he has to leave. And you are the secretary for the second. You're going to have to do a lot of work. Come in. Okay.
I love the discussion so far. I like the idea of the Cuban doctors and nurses. I like the ideas we give in terms of what items can donate and the logistics. But as I said before, I'm still very concerned about how we get information from specific teachers as to their specific needs. That's not what works.
Today we cannot get to everybody.
That works.
And that is why you said you're planning to go, and I already said I'm coming with you. Let us go and possibly meet Nerick and try to do, because Nerick knows that area. He's a bush guy, my dear, professional. So there are going to be roads that we cannot travel along. Nerick will know where to take us. But even when you go, we know that we cannot touch everybody. And that must be said from day one. It is impossible to reach everybody. There are two communities that according to the TV are still marooned. And they can only enter there through the Jamaica Defense Force, by air. So that is already a case. If we have a teacher living there, it is going to be a problem. But at least, as opposed to doing so and doing nothing, we are going to be doing something.
What I'm going to do too, if I may, I'm going to be asking, as we are meeting through the regional managers who have more connectivity than I do, to find out from their regions the persons who might be the worst affected.
Yes, that's what I want.
Because I have to sit in proxy for the person managing Region 4, and that person would have migrated some time ago. I know that from as far as Hanover to Montego Bay, there are teachers in distress, some to a lesser extent. What I have to do, I have to now look at it and say, all right, I took a trip into Montego Bay right after the storm. I realized that though Montego Bay was hit, in comparison to Westmoreland, it's not so bad. I went into Hanover and I went into some remote areas. I realized that although they were hit in terms of the damage to infrastructure, not so bad. They have some damages, but the persons in Westmoreland, especially those along the coast, White House, Belmont, Ferris Road, almost complete devastation. And I'm not talking about old houses only, even some brand new houses recently finished, gone. And even my own mother lost her house, and I said to myself, and she said to me, you know what happened? She said, I did not cry until the Saturday after the hurricane was met. Why? She said, my house is old. When I went around the corner, I saw the house of a returning resident who just finished it like a few months ago, and it's completely torn down. She said, look here, that is in correct. Because she said, look, I would have expected mine to go, but I'd have expected that to stand. She said, look, but she saw others in as much as she had nothing. She said, no, this was too much. And that is
1 minute.
I started to lose my marbles from the day of the hurricane, because when I saw the roof going, I said to myself, this is crazy. I said, God, we cannot endure this for 5 hours or more. I've never seen anything like it, but I had to hold it together. I had to shelter in my car. Thank God for it. We had to shelter in the car, and the store, watching the house top go. And it wasn't a case where we did not try to prepare, but even the best preparation could not have helped us at this time. So I get completely what we want to be able to do this. But I believe that our best bet at this time is to take the summary or the general idea and present. We have persons who are in need of building material if that is possible. We have persons who are constantly in the need of food, especially if they would have lost income. And I believe that you are aware that a number of us as teachers, what really supports support our lives and livelihood is a second income that some of us no longer have. So it's going to take a lot, but I believe that teachers will be really appreciative of whatever assistance they could get, even if not everyone gets. Because it is almost going to be impossible for us to reach everyone, and we would not.
And one thing, we have a president, Dr. Lei Feng, the director of the Confucius Institute Online. Thank you, Dr. Lei Feng, welcome, and Roxanne, the French officer. But then I brought some persons in and I did introduce them. Okay, this gentleman, this nice gentleman, oh, it's a specialist. Has been working with the ministry for years and providing us textbooks. So he comes to explore the market and see what is happening, and he meets with all the officers. I met with him yesterday, told him that today is my last day, so then he came to meet with Ramonia today, and he's an amazing provider. So I told him right on the bat, approximately 7 times, that I was expecting some donation from them as well, because if we buy from them for so long, I was saying to the Jamaican counterpart, come on, go into that warehouse and start finding books and things that you can help us to put together to give to our teachers. But you know, guys, that this may also impact even CXC. It's going to impact the whole school year. And Sir always comes to, touch the reality with the hand and speak to us. I mean, he landed at 10 o'clock and he was here at 12 o'clock. So I was telling him, I'm not English anymore. He said, what do you mean? I said, you're German. And we were laughing about it. He works very hard and loves Jamaica, has a very good relationship with specialists in Jamaica. So anyway you see him, you will know that he's one of us, possibly, and willing to assist. Come inside, you're invited. This is a very friendly space.
Yeah,
So that is
Spanish,
Sir is the Jamaican rep that works with his publishing house from England. And I'm just bringing them in because I told them yesterday that I wanted some donation. And, ahí tienen la tarjeta y no hay problema. So, you know Ramonia Smith Hamilton, she is going to be, guys, the person taking over. And good luck, and good luck, and good luck, and again good luck. But then I have here on my left somebody that has been amazing. And this gentleman, well, I am not an architecture, I'm not an artisan. I don't know how to create statues, but if I could, I would. He has been an amazing mentor through my 24 years at the ministry, and his name is Mr. Wade Jones, JP, Deputy Financial Officer, Director from the Ministry of Finance, meaning the man with the money, nothing else. And there is his beautiful wife. So even when he is on leave, guys, I told him that I was going to ambush him if he not come today, being my last day. And here is Wayne to support us again. All of us need to come together to find a way to help our teachers. I am hoping that Kingston Bookshop goes into that warehouse, and that on Monday Ramonia starts receiving boxes, Ramonia, with stationery and dictionaries, because we need to help our teachers. That is very important. And thank you for giving me the time. I know, Oliver, knowing you, that you're going to be running into another meeting now with somebody else. Look at that, he's going to catch a plane. Oh my.
Thank you for your praise, Martha. I'm not sure I deserve it, but there you go.
You do?
But just for reassurance, Kingston Bookshop and OUP are talking about how we can support the western part of the country. It's going to take a little time. They've got the contacts in terms of the organisations, but we've certainly already, we had a sales conference last week in St Lucia, and some colleagues have gone back to the UK, and we've already started that discussion, so there are things in hand.
Very good, because even in the North Coast, among other things, the ministry was considering what they call the community silos, where you will have to get like lots of students under a particular place, and the students are going to be rotating, so pools of books and material will have to become accessible in specific places, because in some of those schools, classes will not start in 6 months, possibly 1 year, depending on how soon they can get on the track. So we appreciate everything. And what you see on the table is just a little glimpse of the result of 24 years at the ministry, not only Martha,
Yeah.
but part of, along with other colleagues.
Yeah, sure.
So we really appreciate having you around and run to your plane,
Thank
don't
you.
miss it.
Yeah, thank
And I know that Kingston Bookstop is going to have to block you from the phone. Because I am going to be sending messages. So sir, you are ready, yes? You are ready for the messages. So, and work fast.
He's got his body on.
So- This young pretty lady is a Cuban consul at the Cuban Embassy. She looks like a high schooler. Our secretary in the foreign languages section is amazing. Mr. Moneyman, as you know him today, the president of JAF, the Jamaica Association of French Teachers. Then Mary is the president of the Spanish Association. Of course, you know her.
Yeah.
And Madame dressed in pink down there is Sir's wife, and she came as support team. And the lady to your right is the VP at the private school from where I conducted the research,
Okay.
where we are offering English for foreigners to all those who come from the airport trying to reach a classroom without being able to speak. So we have become the intermediate section to come and tell them, come on, let us learn a little English, because we also have to protect the children in school at the end of the day. And Eric has been very participant in this program. Ramoni has offered support, she knows about it, and the other persons as well. So sometimes you have like 6 or 7 nationalities. You have Vietnamese, you have nationalities you have never heard about, but for the most are Cubans, because now we are the one in fashion. So, so there are 2 persons who have to run away now. You will be one.
Yeah.
Thank you very
No,
much.
thank you, Martha, thank you for the praise, but thank you for all your help and support, for certainly working with me over the last 20 years. I think, unusually for an Englishman, I'm going to have to give you a hug with praise.
Wow! And then he's so tall, look at me. Yes, thank you. Well, the retirement is going to be a change in labor, you know.
You'll still be busy.
It's just a labor status. Okay, thank you very much.
Take care.
Muchas gracias.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Ciao. Same here.
Okay. So now, Jolene, I know that the next one on Stampede Mood is you.
Yes, my thighs are the same.
Okay, very good. So what Eric was saying was very important, and I pick up from what you were indicating, that we're worried about those that we may not be able to reach. I will repeat the same like everybody knows. Let us try to work with what we can. And we continue to organize ourselves on the way. Maybe we cannot reach all the teachers one day, but when we can reach those that are available. Now, a visit, a ground visit, a site visit may be very useful for us to understand. So far, the care bags are for the most, the same things for most people. But then we are looking at 2 areas, the category, the professional category, stationery, a tape recorder, flash memories, paper to write on, what the teachers have lost from the professional stand that will be able to place them in a teaching situation. And then we are going to be looking at things like what we have there. And that was just an invention, put some things together. So we are looking at canned food, and the canned food, when you prepare the guidelines, Mary, you need to make sure that it is expiring in 2027 and 28. Careful with buying things that expire the following day, because that is an issue that we will have now. So we know because the Chinese and other nationalities have warehouses that are immense, they are helping a lot. Let me tell you right now, Megamark has a big box, but when persons come and throw things into the donation, nobody is controlling the entire debate. So it is not anybody trying to do bad. I believe that it is persons with good intention, but good intention cannot carry you through. So we don't want to be placed in a position where we are going to be giving persons stuff that has expired. So once everything is collected and we agree where it is going to be placed and all that, we are going to have to create instructions. And I made a comment before. Let us say, you bring material for a grade 1, but you bring material for a grade 5. So how other countries do is you will use see-through bags, transparent, and they must be classified. But we need to create that classification, guys. There is no human power that can sit down to be reviewing all what people can bring for a donation. Even being able to use the discretion of identifying certain items that may not be suitable, and then we just have to say, we are not going to give them to teachers.
I have two questions that I have to go, but firstly, where will the site visits be? And secondly, how is it that we are collating the information as to who are going to donate these things to?
The site visit must be soon, and since I am free after today, remember, the big Kunta Kinte screen will be heard in the entire Kingston.
Yes.
After today at 5, I can decide when,
Okay.
but it will have to be working out with you guys, availability and timing. That is important.
I was asking where you think we should.
I believe that I will leave that in Eric's hands, being the specialist in the bush area. He lives in that area, his roof was gone, he's one of the most affected, he knows the area. He already went ahead and visited some of those. So I would say, out of common sense, instead of starting afresh, let us use his experience and be guided to visit the areas that we can impact with immediate effect. That is one. The second thing is that Google surveys are very good, but they do not reach those that are not reachable.
Yeah.
So you could do a combination of both and say the Google survey will be mainly to inform the teachers, to make a suggestion on the items, to look for availability, and always the last question is make 2 or 3 recommendations to this exercise. As you see, it applies. You are looking at a map where you have an area that was mildly affected in pink, the center in mustard color, it says medium level affected, but you have the whole western part of the island in red, indicating that it was really badly affected. Let us speak to the teachers with honesty. Let us be humble. Let us allow ourselves a time to listen to them, but let us stretch ourselves as much as we can without breaching any protocol.
Something
Because,
dawned on me. A number of principals will have reached out to their staff post Melissa to get an idea of what is happening. Janine asked where would be the collection sites and so forth.
that has to be decided, because what we recommended initially was maybe you can go to Region 4 and say, let us choose a particular place where the teachers come.
So
and we meet them
I
there.
was wondering if it's possible for the, let's say a drop off our central point, if we could probably use the regional offices, based on availability, we ask for a space to put a donation box, and then at a particular time, we, whoever is designated retrieves, and then we collate and say what we have, and then we pick a spot in for the members that will be there on that day.
I have a problem with that, and I'm going to tell you why. Unless you have somebody watching the box where people drop, that is going to be a problem. I'd rather invite the persons that are going to benefit from, and they come and we meet. A day where you can even carry food and sit down with the people on top, or get to prefer eating from Jamaica, because we also need to do something that is not happening in this exercise. We need to talk to them. We need time to sit down with the teachers and listen to their concerns. So since Jode is making a very interesting comment about other sides of this exercise, let us pay attention to the human side. And persons need to know that we are with them and we want to support them. So my take will be, 1, do it through the ministry. Get all the instructions. Nothing here is in anarchy and we do whatever we want. It is not going to work. Secondly, receive the instructions and then coordinate through the ministry with the different levels and entities to do it the proper way, respecting every single protocol. And then we can make our recommendations, but listen to what the ministry has, because really speaking, guys, the ministry has created an amazing machinery to support all this. Now, thirdly, when that is done, is when you know that this can happen or may not happen. This can happen or may not happen. This can happen or may not be applicable. We can invite the human resources or not. We can invite the nurses or not. They will give permission for this or not. The regional office is available or not. But there is too much happening in those areas. Now, when you drop things for whomever to come, it is open to everybody. I prefer inviting the teachers who are here and you sit down and you distribute and you speak to them. Allow them even to vent their anger, their frustration. Let us also listen to them. So by the time we do the first one in December, good. By the time we go back in March, for instance, we are better informed. And by the time we go back then in July, because we are looking at minimum 3, then you are even better informed. But by doing this, you avoid having to look somebody to do watching for stuff and having to do whatever. And the person will be leaving there with the stuff in their hand. Now, nothing here is going to happen unless it is through the ministry and respecting all the guidelines. Because, like I say, if an ambassador decides to go, do you know that security reasons and preparation will be totally different? And then if you're inviting the Cuban nurses and doctors, it is also going to have a different implication. So all these things, somebody's there? Okay. All these things need to be properly thought. Okay. Hey! Okay. So, you have to leave today, so you're not going to hear about none of this. Okay, muchas gracias y bienvenidos mis dos profesores colombianos. Yeah, so we're going to create a group. Él es el presidente de la Asociación Nacional de Profesores de Francés. And these are the 2 lecturers from Colombia under the Jamaica-Colombia program offering Spanish classes for almost 300 civil servants. Yes. Siéntense muchachos y muchachas, siéntense. Ok, gracias por venir y gracias por llegar. So these are guys, 2 Colombians, as I said already, and they are here in Jamaica teaching Spanish to civil servants. The classes are taking place here at Cambridge Center after 5 o'clock, actually 5:30 to 8:30, plus classes online. They have been keeping the people going like a train, and it is very interesting. Today students woke up and said, oh, we want to do a trip to Colombia. And then it started, actually your Robin Reed is the one carrying that flag. So we said, no problem, we called the ambassador. She should have been here, maybe she will come, maybe not. So we said to them, they have been helping, and they have been making donations to help teachers. So I said, since they are here, come and join us to see what they can suggest. Yeah.
I was going to make the point, endorse what you said, that the efforts of the association should be streamlined or go through the ministry. And one of the agencies that has been at the forefront of the efforts of the ministry is the National Education Trust, NET. So I believe that through NET, you can make some significant impact in terms of the distributions and all of the relief efforts that we're trying to put together.
And we spoke already to Latoya.
Okay, great.
We spoke already to Latoya Harris about it.
So we're encouraging that group. So as the
One thing is important in the case of what we are going to do is that we are going to be asking for the guidelines to impact the teachers directly and to meet with the teachers and have the session with them. Allow them to speak, let us listen to their concerns, because that will also enrich the exercise in terms of the adjustments that we need to make. But nothing is going to be out of the law or out of the regulations. So because we have pending the donation of the keyboards, I had mentioned that to Latoya Harris, who is the person heading NET already. And, it is not actually Colombian, but it is a Colombian lady who works at an agency. And when they receive the computers are coming with Spanish keyboards. So every month they have between 300 and 1,000 keyboards practically given away. And that is a process that we are trying also to use to get the official presentation of the keyboards to the ministry, so we can use some of them to be sending to the North Coast. Now, Camilo, with the face mask, and Teresita, welcome. It is already the 20th of November. You are going back to Colombia the 14th of December, so it is less than 1 month from now. How are you feeling?
Sad.
Ah. Camilo, ¿cómo te sientes?
Me siento muy bien.
English, because we have persons here who don't speak Spanish.
Very well. It's possible to complete the program. It's sad for total.
Yeah, and you have gotten, the two of you have gotten very attached to the students. Let me tell you, the week before Melissa, actually, we went to the Latin night. You couldn't come, but Teresita came. My, what a way of dancing. My, it was so nice. So there she was, the students dancing. We did something. Come in.
Good afternoon.
Macmillan, yes, Macmillan, Norman Livingston, right here. Akimism, another publisher that has been amazing with the Ministry of Education and has been supporting us. Wow, when we met, none of us are right here, you remember? Aww, some years ago. So on my last day, thank you for coming. Let me again make the presentation is the Cuban Consul. To your right you have Madame Changanor. She is the VP at the private school where I completed the research. We have a Colombian lecturer teaching Spanish to our civil servants. That's why I was begging you on the phone. We have Ramonia Smith, who is the person taking over. Now, you know her very well. And then we have the other Colombian lecturer, Camilo. Look at how young they are, and you know Colombians are amazing. And we were laughing when you were coming in because we invited them to a Latin night recently, and somebody's skeleton had activity. Yes, and mine. And the president of the National Association of Spanish Teachers, which is Mary, and then you know the secretary, the lady that you always speak with. And this is the money man. Listen to the presentation. Mr. Wayne Jones, JP, Deputy Financial at the Ministry of Finance, meaning right beside Faber, not even behind, right beside, so you know why he's here. Okay, so the president of the French Teachers Association had to leave because he came for a particular time, and the main thing that we wanted was for the two of them to start sharing with us. We need to create a working group. Even when I am not here, I'm going to be assisting, but then that is going to be a joint task looking at what we can do for our teachers of foreign languages in the North Coast. So there is a little box there that you can see. By speaking to some of them, the issue is quite interesting, and there are two main categories. You have the personal items and you have the professional ones. So we are looking at speaking to the different stakeholders to see what we can put together to organize the delivery to the affected teachers in the affected zones. Already the Embassy of France stepped up, and they are going to provide support with teaching aids for teachers. I am so impressed with the Embassy of France because they alone are amazing. They don't wait to jump when it has to do with the teachers, always, and that is quite commendable. By you being here, and we have Mr. Lei Feng. Mr. Lei Feng, would you like to say something? Hello? Mr. Lei Feng is the director of the Confucius Institute, the Chinese institution that runs from Mona, University of the West Indies, and they have 14 campuses in the Caribbean, and they are growing tremendously. And you know that I was in China recently as well. So, you can say something to your colleagues.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce myself fully. Norman Livingston, Macmillan representative in Jamaica through Kingston Bookshop. Our association with Martha, she has said, started long before I had gray hair. So, it has been nearly 30 years since I've been at Kingston Bookshop working, obviously. So, but it's a delight to be here. The association with Martha has been so fruitful over the years, specifically Martha, but members of the team as well. During COVID, I must say too, we started a WhatsApp group for language teachers
So what are they?
Yes, and up to today, it's still going strong. New members are coming on. It has been a great help to teachers, especially for foreign teachers, I should say. I don't know specifically say people, not whatever. But it has been a great help, and Martha and her team has supported the initiative. The publishers support us with material that we disseminate to teachers on a regular basis, especially through COVID when everybody now persons were online. And we wish those associations to continue into the future.
Okay, and we are definitely looking at your donations.
Yes.
So we are looking at going for the first time in December, and then we want to make a second trip in March, and a third one in July. So whoever cannot contribute on the first, at the first attempt, then will be ready for March, and if not for July. And it will also allow us to meet with the teachers. The president himself lost all the roof in his house, so he is really somebody who's living the experience of what is happening in the North Coast. So we were contemplating, well, first of all, have a committee listen to persons, talk to people, try to garnish information the best way possible. So I was saying, even in anticipation of speaking to the embassy, that maybe we could speak to the doctors and nurses, meet with people at a particular place, get blood pressure checked and this and that, get antibiotic cream to clear scratches, do things that we know that are going to be impacting the teachers. And in relation to where an idea was extended about using like a place to store the stuff that needs to be a secure place, but at the time of distributing, we would like to be able possibly to meet with the teachers in a particular space and give the things to the items to the teachers as the case may be. So there is going to be a lot of work going into it. The ministry has created a whole structure having to do with these donations. So we want for the associations and whoever else to work through the existing structure, respecting all the protocols, in order to be able to make it transparent, to make sure that things are handled the proper way, and to make sure that they can reach where they need to be. So that is the intention of today's meeting, being my last day up to 5 o'clock at the ministry. Now, in 2000 and early, at the age of 51, I benefited from an international scholarship granted by the Ministry of Finance on behalf of Government of Jamaica and the Organization of American States. Everybody knows about the scholarship, and it was 13 years that only I know until July 2024 last year, where I could finally present my dissertation and attend my graduation in September. When you are studying, everybody knows what happens, and that there are too many changes taking place. Lots of the activities that I really had to perform, had to put forward, came through the Caribbean Training Institute for Languages, and it was actually my Spanish tutor who told me, since you're having so many difficulties, you need to find a parallel space, because people study and complete their PhD in 4 to 6 years. It's not going to be 13 years. So, having said that, the Caribbean Training Institute that you hear so much about became the center. The teacher said we have identified as a loophole that foreigners, especially specifically Hispanics, are coming into the country. They are being hired to teach in our schools. They cannot speak. So we need to create here a solution to be able to deal with this. And this is how we started in February 2023. So the main intention is that when they arrive, sometimes they call us from PICA, sometimes they call us from the airport, sometimes entities or principals call, and they will say, you're not having a good teacher, you cannot speak English. So then we take them the brigade, the medical brigade, the head of the brigade, when we have seen that the English is kind of not going well, and it has really helped them to be able to. But for me now, it assisted me to organize like the total immersion experiences, going into places and doing activities that definitely went beyond the scope that the ministry could cover at the time. By putting all this on the table, all I want to say is I indicated to the ministry as gratitude that I am giving the ministry in writing by law the right to use all what is here. And these are some of the samples of things that we could use to prepare the bags for our teachers. That is the reason why. So I am going to take the time to go around and mention different things to kind of motivate your brains. But in the meantime, since I was speaking about this man, I would like my nice colleague and mentor, Mr. Wayne Jones, to say something, because one of the things that I have really had from him is support. And when sometimes I feel like it is too much and I cannot go, there's always somebody to grab you and shake you and tell you, hello, we have to complete. The worst part of it is that I am at an age where I should be watering my plants. And after I completed the first PhD, and these people gave me 2, I tried to negotiate under the table and tell the man, at my age, give me a blind note. And the man looked at me and said, we gave you 2, you better finish. Other option, bed. So here I am still suffering completely the second, but one at least is completely. Let us hear you now, Mr. Wayne Jones.
Martha. Good afternoon, friends. It surely is and has been and continues to be my pleasure to be of support to someone who herself became known to me out of a need for support for someone else. So many years ago, working in another position in public service or aligned to public sector, there was a need for someone to access human health care. And we're told the person to turn to is one Martha. If you get a surname, I was just told Martha and did not contact. And made contact with Martha, and the rest is history. The person went to Cuba and is still alive and seems well. Martha has always been that go-to person when you need anything in the languages, interpretations, just any support. And the government of Jamaica has been a major beneficiary of Martha's support, even at the last minute before the support is needed, the translation is needed, the interpretation is needed. But as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Office of the Prime Minister, Passport and Immigration Agency, whichever agency of government that needs that support of whatever kind, market name comes up. Individuals in the public sector and the wider society knows her name through that channel because she never says no. She saves people. And for me personally, it has been a joy to be able to reciprocate. That's really what it is. Martha speaks about scholastic support that my office has been able to her, or what she has spoken about is a reciprocal support. I recall some years ago when we had an offer from the Colombian government to teach Jamaican Spanish, and within my organization I did not have the structure to coordinate. Of course, the first person that came to mind was Martha, and asked Martha, and of course it was done without any hesitation. And so through that we have what I see now as an even greater initiative being instituted, and we thank Colombian people, government and people for that support. Jamaica is operating in a world space today where which ought not to be alarmed. It not be. We have such historical connection with Bulgarian people, Cubans, Mexicans, just a long history, and we have never made language a barrier to relationships. But through the efforts of people like Martha, we are formalizing and structuring it. And so many Jamaicans are today able to operate with multilingual skills because of people like Martha. I think I can say too, because of where I sit in the government, that had it not been for her insistence in getting us there, it would not have been so, because unfortunately the system had not matured sufficiently and at the pace to really take on. And that can be for various reasons, but we're fortunate to have Martha, who came to us from Cuba many years ago, and who was really transitioning in a more than a full-fledged Jamaican, although not born here, but one who really has transitioned into being a real Jamaican in every aspect of description. And Martha, we really want to thank you. We know you will leave the formal employ of the government of Jamaica, but from what I know, relationships must continue hand in hand. I am just amazed at how she always wants to push, but at the same time, when it comes to her person, sometimes she wants to step back and she says to Martha, no, we have to keep going. But I think you all are Martha, she lots of things she wants to do at once. And I always have to say to Martha, let's take them one at a time. Let's segment them, Martha. Let's move this one out the way and take it off and pick it up. And I think now that you are going to be, I don't say retired from CCU, but you're going to be in another space more frequently than you are in King Center space. You will have time to reflect and to see that re-strategizing is necessary. So I just want to wish you continued good health, continued energy, and I hope you'll continue to have the drive to serve as you have always done in decades that we have benefited as a country from your service. Walk good, enjoy your grand. Just continue to live and love life.
Yes.
And all your best. And we will be in touch.
Definitely,
Sure.
for sure. Because I have to get to that office with the second completion and say, mission accomplished. Yes, and it is going to be soon. Okay, at this point in time, would you like to say something, Madam?
Okay, first, and before I forget, I bring this appreciation letter from European ambassador.
Thank you.
Who
Thank you.
finished his duties last week. Yeah, well, I don't know how to say about Martha and about the incredible work that he has been doing here in the Ministry of Education for more than 2 decades. And it's good to recognize not only the work here, but also the support to the Latin American community residing in Jamaica, because it's not only Cubans, from other nationalities who arrive here without knowledge of English, and she assists, she helps in the best way she can to a better introduction in the Jamaican society, and also to find a good job and to contribute to the development of Jamaicans. I am really happy to be invited here today and to appreciate how teachers are coming together to assist to those centers who have been more affected by the hurricane. So I just want to say, Martha, congratulations in this new stage of your personal and professional life that you're going to start this afternoon. And of course, you can count with the support of the Cuban Embassy and the Cuban community here.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Okay, so I guess that different persons have been speaking at different times because I had to make Mr. Moneyman speak and you were not going to leave without speaking. Because there is something very important that I also wanted to bring to the table when I invited him. And it's that this year we started, remember, for the first time, the professional trips with the teachers. And the whole conversation of, we know that no government in the world can pay its teachers to travel. We know that. But we still need to find the common ground where teachers are going to be assisted. First of all, by understanding that the total immersion is a very important component of any foreign language teacher. It is not applicable to Jamaica alone. Let us say Camilo now and Teresa, when they go back, the experience that they are taking back with them is irreplaceable. Because it is not only studying the language, but they are here living it. So if there is no light, water, hurricane, TV, internet, teaching online, there is no this, or there is this, like when we went to the Latin night and had a fabulous time. Total immersion rounds up a foreign language teacher in a way no other methodology can. And one of the things that we wanted to say, and we have said to Mr. Jones was, listen, we know that nobody can pay for all the teachers. We couldn't, no country can. But what can we find in terms of regulatory establishments, regulations, to support these efforts every year? In the former curriculum, Rose curriculum, page 48, responsibilities of the school principal, paragraph before the last on that page, it stated that the principal will support teachers in this type of endeavor. That is a general statement. Moving forward, with all the changes, what can still be done will be something that Ramonia and others will have to take move forward. What we have discovered in the research is that traveling abroad is not going to Panama to shop and come back. It must have a teaching component. It must have an academic component. Like right now with the classes, the civil service, Ramonia, are so happy with Teresita and Camilo that now one of his subordinates wants to go to Colombia, and we say, yes, man. And we call the ambassador to start putting the trip together. And the next concern is, when the class is finished, and we said, what are we going to do? I said, channel it through whoever you need to, because I'm sure opportunities are there. Now, going to another country as part of a total immersion experience for academic purpose must include classes, must include research, must include proper immersion into academic activities to beef up the readiness of that teacher. It's not going to Panama, free zone, shop and come back. That is not necessarily the total immersion that we are looking for. You guys are going to be left with that responsibility, among other things. And then the most important thing and the most difficult one, presently, will be then sitting down with Jamaica Teaching Council and say, for this trip, we need to justify this amount of credits, so the teachers then can benefit from professional hours of development. Every single cent must be justified. But for these entities to take us seriously, Ramonia and Eric knows that, and all the others, you need to prepare a whole bunch of documentation. You need to beef up the reality and be able to demonstrate how these activities really and truly improve our teacher status. And individually, the one side in the check is this gentleman, amazing, smart gentleman on my side. Oh, the wife is up here. And the discussion will have to go in that direction. So I hope that that will be something that needs to be seen. What is the future of teaching foreign languages in Jamaica? Guys, bilingual schools, like other countries. And in Colombia, you have a whole bunch of them. But not a bilingual school, a school that teaches Spanish. No, no, no. A school where all the subjects are taught in both languages. And in some of the schools, the children are learning as many as 4 simultaneous languages. Why? Because one of the leading countries in the world, as you know, the United States, has become an incredible melting pot of nationalities. We know that. And persons are, let us say, you go to California and you know it is Mexico. But then you will go a little further and you know it is Russian. And then you will go to Atlanta where you have all the IT buddies and it's pure Chinese and Japanese. And these communities are growing, which is one of the concerns you have seen this Western TV. Languages are moving, but they make persons better. What do we need to do? That will be in the hands of those that are inherited. I want to just walk around the table and show some things. On my closing of that second PhD, and I put all the blame on him. This is in Chinese, guys, and I was in Europe when this trip came to be. And they just called me and said, you want to be the head of delegation? I said, somebody pays, I'm going. So I just landed from Europe and went to China for 2 weeks with students from UAE. Students like us, regular Jamaicans. The qualifications are mainly bachelors, not even masters. Persons who are working in Jamaica with Chinese companies and needed to speak Chinese. And when I listened to my fellow country people speak Chinese, I was like, oh my God. I went to observe methodology of teaching. And it allowed me to see how the Chinese teach and what are the things that they do. Then I got this certificate and I said, if I bring this to government of Jamaica, they are going to smile and say, okay, only your name is readable here, what does it say? So then we went into AI, and in 2 seconds, AI translated the document. Mark you, it needed some editing, but it was done. Only to show that the sky, as Ramonia loves to say, the limit is set beyond the sky, in another universe, and we need to continue growing. So, this is something that was prepared some time ago, and it was only an inventory of the Hispanic community, mainly Cubans, in Jamaica. What was the intention? To know what people there are doing, to know where they are, to identify where the needs are, to then be able to start that program, English for Foreigners. There are 3 of these. They are very nice. They were done by a Cuban who is like him, a wizard in the computer. And all of this is voluntary work. It is not necessarily money, but it was a contribution of somebody. So when I want to know what people are doing in terms of business, I can come here and consult the firm. And then we could not publish it. They didn't have the money. So we share it online, and fax and email, and everybody they know, including the Cuban embassy, who is in this case our official representative. Now, the Cuban doctors started coming, as you know, and it was madness, especially during COVID. Then one weekend in no time, we were invited not to sleep, run on the net, get free images, and create this training booklet for Cuban doctors and nurses. And it's being used over and over and over. Why? Because remember what happened in COVID, it was crisis time. And we received over 400 Cuban doctors and nurses that were they were hosted at the Pegasus Hotel. So what we did was we burned CDs and flash memories, and we were teaching online because remember at the time physical contact was quite limited, and this was done voluntarily. Now that booklet here, please get it to me, Camilo, this one. Was another one. We have Cuban teachers teaching in Jamaica since 1997. Since 1997. When they started teaching Spanish, when Martha started making noise, it was a coincidence. I came into the ministry and the whole thing started moving into Spanish. And initially they were teaching science, mathematics, physics, chemistry. And then it was 10, 15 Cuban teachers, now we are at 74. Now, in no time, Ramonia, Marta, and others have to put together this madness to train the Cuban teachers, just to show that when the need arises, we have been there to try to create materials. At some point in time, all these things continue to add to Jamaica. Now, tourism, between 2013 and 2014, Jamaica was receiving between 5 and 8 charters from Russia and from Spain. Again, we were called to the Ministry of Education And we ended up preparing this one for Spanish and this one for Russian. When we went to the North Coast, we discovered that many of the persons who needed to be trained could not read and write. So what we had to do was to say, out of the 4 skills, let us go with 2, speaking and listening. So CDs were burnt, material was prepared, and it was done. It only shows that whoever is going to be inheriting, which is in this case Ramonia, and others, will also be called constantly to be fitting in, because at the end of the day, what are we defending is Jamaica and the children. I will definitely continue working on this one, Caribbean Training Institute, for the time being. This is another bilingual glossary that we prepared for CXC. We also have notebooks, and we have many other things, English and Spanish. And what is the intention? That when we are working with the teachers, we can facilitate this. Yes, I will keep the copyright, but I donate the right to usage to Jamaicans, to the schools, especially now under the conditions. So I'm going to need help with printing. We are going to need money for printing. We are going to need also contributions to this donation. I could be talking for 2 years or not, but at the end of the day is, we are leaving here today understanding that some of our teachers have lost absolutely everything. He is in that position precisely. And then we were recommending already NERIC creating a group, speaking to the persons, possibly organizing a site visit, which I'm kind of worried about, because that gas expense is amazing. And we need to think also of the pros and cons, and if that information cannot be gathered in any other way. But at the end of the day, each of us working together, we are going to be able to be impacted. Let us see. What do you have to say? What do you think? Y muchas gracias por esta tarde. Anda, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. One of our HR directors, Ayalin Donald. Soon to be Dr. Ayalin Donald. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Welcome. Okay, so I guess she is one of the senior directors at the HR department, Ministry of Education. So here you have Madam, the Cuban consul, or pretty young Cuban consul. Norman Livingston from Macmillan Kingston Bookshop. Harshan Gallimore, who is the VP at the school from where I conducted the research. My 2 other brunette participants are from Colombia. Those are the ones teaching English for foreigners. Yeah, she wanted to be part of the program at some point in time. Yes, you know, of course, Ramonia, you know Ramonia. And then we have the president of the National Association of Spanish Teachers. And I'm sure you know Mr. Oniman, from the Ministry of Finance, who has been amazing.
Yes.
I would also like to know that despite what is happening, Melissa does not take over only an area, and that we keep the spirit, because there is a group of teachers that are not necessarily affected, and studies come through this desk. Yeah. So Mr. Jones oversees the scholarship section at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, which is where my scholarship came from. And if I could get it at the age that I did, any of you, 1.5. Let us keep that light going for persons to understand their conditions of service. Not everybody is in trouble. For those who are in trouble, assist them. For those who are not, life continues. Is that clear? Because it is important. He personally is one of the persons extremely interested in pursuing his master's. Masters? Okay. And there are many others. And then let us see how best this collaboration can go. Would you like to say something now, or I give you time to? Yes. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so good afternoon everyone. I'm Irene Donald. I'm Senior Director of Human Resource Management and Development. Despite not having a proper breakfast and not having lunch, I was in a meeting with the unions, and I said, today is the day that Dr. Barr leave this ministry. No matter what is happening, if it's for 2 minutes, I have to be here because she deserves that. all right? So I just want to say to you, Dr. Carby, that we at the ministry, we appreciate your work, right? You have been with us for what, 20 odd years? 24. Yes, a long time, very, very long time, right? I mean, the civil service for over 30 odd years. And when I came, I saw you. So from where we came, we appreciate your work. We must extend our sincere gratitude to you. We didn't treat you the best, I must confess, based on what you have underwent. I tried in my own way to intervene. Some of the matters I was not privy to in some cases, but I did try my best. And you are leaving this ministry now, and I know you are leaving the ministry better, not better. Despite us, we could have been better in terms of how we treat you. But nonetheless, you being the person you are, you're energetic, you take everything with a smile. And sometimes people take that for granted, right? But from HR perspective, we don't take you for granted. You have been and a very, what I would say, part of the backbone of this ministry in terms of foreign language. When you say foreign language, you think of no other but Dr. Paul, right? From I came to the ministry up until now. When somebody say, foreign language, where is Dr. Paul in this? That's the question that is being asked, even at the executive level when they are talking about foreign language. It's like your name is synonymous with foreign language. So we do appreciate your work and your legacy that you're leaving the ministry is going to speak for itself. I was there when you actually handed over your dissertation to the library. And that in itself says to me that you're thinking of the next generation, which is very important. Whenever we go, we have to think about, the next generation to come. And so I know that even as you leave today, it's not the end of marathon. We'll hear, we'll see, we will actually, learn of your contribution. We probably attend other events like this and see you there. That's the type of person you are. Always dedicating your life to giving back. And so we want to just say to you that you are appreciated. Right? And please accept our apologies for all the bad treatment. Many of us go through that, but nonetheless we came out stronger. And that's what happened. We came out strong.
And I definitely need to finish the second PhD so I can get somebody off my case.
Yes. Right.
All right.
But I have a little token there for you to take away from our formal function that we have for our staff who retire. But this is just from me, just to say thank you. I have a card, but I was waiting on PS to sign it. I don't have it yet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Muchas
That's a
gracias.
token
Muchas
of my
gracias.
appreciation. All right?
Mercy. Thank you.
When I grow up, I want to be
Oh
Joseph.
my. Oh my.
I believe then that it is fitting for me to follow in the example of the Senior Director of HR. So first things first.
Medalla presidencial otorgada por la doctora Marta Luisa Corpesco por más de 20 años de apoyo inquebrantable a la visión y misión de la Asociación Nacional de Profesores de Español de Jamaica. It is a recognition from the Association of Teachers of Spanish to Dr. Marta.
So, Dr. Ball is receiving the second presidential medal ever issued in the history of the association for her support to the association for more than 20 years.
Wow. Thank you.
So,
Muchas gracias.
interestingly, I met Martha back in 2010 whilst I was studying under the bilateral agreement between Jamaica and Spain for Spanish for primary teachers. And since then, it has been an amazing journey. I have benefited greatly from her guidance and support, and we continue to work together. And like any good relationship, there are differences.
Yes.
But we keep working.
Keep moving on. That's part of it.
All right.
He's one of my adopted Jamaican sons. Thank you very much.
Your deadline is about 7:15.
You just ask yes. You just ask yes. You just ask yes.
You were not expecting it?
No, I was not, definitely not. Because today is not supposed to be the official certificate, it is just getting together. Now, moving forward, Dr. Anything? Okay.
I have to leave. Thank you so much.
Eh?
Okay, I'm reading really fast and then I'm leaving. So this is a letter from our former ambassador, from Jimena Sanchez, and said, "It is my great pleasure to write this letter about Ms. Marta Luisa Corbett-Blau, PhD, Ms. Corbett-Blau, Senior Education Officer in Foreign Languages at the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. Stand out for her activism in attention to the Cuban community residing in Jamaica and for incessant work in identifying initiatives to promote the learning of Spanish language in this country. In this regard, it's necessary to highlight the English for Foreigners project, which is a powerful tool for empowerment and helps prepare its students for better professional and personal development in Jamaica. Her excellent human virtues and capacity for action allow her to boost, motivate, reinforce, and empower the Cuban community, which has been inextricably linked to the Jamaica for historical and social reasons. In Marta, several values are combined, including trust, commitment, resilience, passion, creativity, and professionalism. Marta has also stood out in the search for spaces in the promotion of initiatives for the reciprocal professional improvement of Cuban and Jamaican teachers, particularly regarding the teaching of the Spanish language. In this regard, it is important to notice her conditional support for the Cuban Educational Brigade and her decisive participation in the workshops organized for new professors. Her work has also included the promotion of the Cuban culture in Jamaica, as well as her support identifying Jamaican youth interest in studying medicine in Cuba under the bilateral scholarship program and the referral to Cuba of patients interested in receiving specialized medical assistance as part of health tourism. The professional success achieved during her career at the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, as well as her involvement in the community, made her deserve of the honors that the Jamaican government may grant her. Sincerely, His Excellency Jimena Sanchez.
Now you have to leave and I have to cut the cake.
I must run, my driver is there, we are running.
Okay.
Because we are also two at the embassy till the ambassador arrives.
Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. Let me hold my lady, my white daughter. Niña, with little glasses. I have to go so. My white daughter. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. You want to ask a picture. Thank you.
Have a great afternoon.
Now, we are going to now ask if anybody else wants to say something, then sit down and what you have to.
I have something to say, although what I have to say is just a tip of the iceberg. Because we are planning something for you, Marcus. So I'm going to be elaborating a lot more in that space. But for now, I remember Mr. Jones saying a while ago, walk good. Walking, Martha, if you had said skip or run or jump
Or dance.
or flip or dance, that would be Martha. So like Mary, I met Martha before Ampe. I met Martha when it was my second teaching job ever. Yes. the Ministry of Education at the time was doing a visit at the high school at which I was teaching, and Martha was among the team of 2 specialists or consultants that were ministry officials that came to see me. I was visited in 2 classes, and I don't know if you've ever been visited in 2 classes, but I was seen at a 3rd form class, because I think they needed to see me at lower school and upper school. And so I remember particularly how trepidated I was because Martha never minced her words. She gave constructive criticism and she gave the praises, and none of them were minced. Martha does not necessarily filter, and if you work close to Martha, you know Martha is gonna just call a spade. And so my relationship with her really blossomed when I became the president of the Association of Spanish Teachers, because we do a lot of work collaborating with the ministry. And then throughout my entire teaching journey, up to the point in which I entered the ministry, we had an excellent working relationship. And I know I speak on behalf of a lot of Spanish teachers, well, foreign language teachers overall, but I speak specifically for Spanish in terms of Martha's contribution to the profession and to teachers overall. I'm a personal, I've benefited personally from years of contribution that Martha has made to us. Martha does not restrict or limit. If there are any opportunities that come up, she's going to let you know about it. She's very active. She's an ardent activist for opportunities and taking advantage of them, especially when it comes to the teaching of Spanish. And so my growth, my professional growth, a lot of it has to do
I'm pulling you into EO. I'm pulling you into EO because you never was looking at
the encouragement was very strong where that is concerned. And I mean, throughout my entire teaching journey, you know, and so I have been very grateful over the years, and I still remain grateful. And I don't necessarily, I don't know, but I don't choose the word retirement when it comes to Martha. Because one of Martha's, if you talk a lot to Martha, she always says, seguimos, and we continue. And that is an outlook of life on life, which is very positive, and it is admirable.
Yes.
And it also shows and mirrors her resilient spirit. And we heard some of the qualities that were read in the letter a while ago. But for me personally, I think that what I've learned the most from Martha is resilience. Above all, it is going to be done, no matter what.
Right.
And even if it doesn't come out perfectly, we're going to get it done. And we have these obstacles, yes, but
We're going to get it done.
we're going to get it done.
Positivity.
Yes. And for me, that has been the most significant value that you embody and that you emit. And persons who work closely or not so closely with you, that is very evident. And so, just want to wrap up, don't want to be too long. Thank you for that resilient spirit too, not just for Spanish teachers, but for the sake of foreign languages in Jamaica and beyond, but Jamaica. For flying that ship, that flag of the ship high.
Dr.
For all of us, for foreign languages in Jamaica, you know, we thank you so much, and we continue to work together. Seguimos, colaborando.
And there behind is the product of that work that we have to do. The thesis, it is almost 600 pages, and amazingly 150% graduated at that university in Andalusia, Spain. There were 2 blackies, one from Africa and Martha from the Caribbean, and it stands quite very much in the picture. And I had to read a lot in Spanish and Patois, and then translate it into Spanish. And I love how the Spanish tutor used to say, this word is, you don't say this in Spain. So you have to put this, and I continue to say, but you have 24 associations. As SAL does exist, there are other norms. And my tutors would say, you have to write it in Spanish that we can read in Spain. And it was amazing, amazing, amazing. COVID was a very special period in our lives. And I remember that we needed to prepare all these lessons and we didn't have the time. And this is a time when this madman was sleeping. He came to live in my house for us to be able to prepare material for COVID. Those were amazing years. And then those classes were to be, oh, Almighty Lord. So we have shared beautiful moments from Monia. Thank you for those beautiful words. I just want to pray in this particular space for each of us to be willing, to be ready, to be healthy first and foremost, and continue with our blessings, share with our colleagues, and being able to put together our heads to help those that we can. We cannot help everybody, but we can really stretch to do as much as we can. I want you to have a piece of the cake, Camilo, and you are not going to leave without eating the cake. So I see you standing there, you stay there, you are not leaving. Please, Julie, help us now to cut the little cake so everybody can take a piece of this moment with you, and expect our calls, our invitations, and the follow-up on what needs to happen, because the intervention in Jamaica is going to take 3 to 5 years. It's not going to be. The World Bank already released the first review, United Nations as well. So we are going to need time and love and effort. And Teresita, as I call you, and Camilo, we are going to organize that trip to Colombia. And Ireland and I know that the best leather shoes in the world are produced in Colombia. Bucaramanga? Good. So, for more than one reason, we are going to continue collaborating. And guys, you can call me anytime. I will let you know. You can still use the same WhatsApp, you know, and the same emails. I have requested some additional time because I was going to dump a lot of stuff at the office, only to discover that now with this situation, we need to rescue some of that material to be able to parcel it and be able to send it to the teachers. So I spoke to Marianne Lewis, the lady that manages the Tech building, yesterday to request a little more leeway so we can rescue some of those things and be able to send it to the teachers who have lost everything in the North Coast. So, ¿quieren decir algo, Teresita? ¿Quieren decir algo, Camilo? Anybody else wants to say anything?
Well, I'd just like to thank you and to congratulate you on your retirement. I think it's something every teacher looks forward to since we start doing this.
Thank you.
I can tell people are very appreciative of what you've done here, and well, it's very nice to find someone like you during this program we're running here. I'm also very, very thankful to get to know you a little bit more in person, not only here, but in person, because I can see the kind of person, how human you are. And I really admire that in everyone I meet. So I'm lucky to, I told you my mom is very grateful to Cubans, and I remember that she told me a story of like many, many years ago. And now I know my own Cuban that I also can thank for. So congratulations on your retirement again.
This is more Jamaican now.
Yes.
It's more Jamaican now.
Yeah, my family is from North from Montego Bay. So my parents and grandparents are Jamaican. So me being here is just the history in reverse becoming that. And I am very grateful for that. Yes.
One of the things I did mention too, I want to thank you, Martha, for always checking in on me in terms of my journey, PhD journey, because she too was busy, despite the challenges she was experiencing in terms of her own PhD, she was checking on me to find out how I was doing. And I'm really inspired by that, pushed me to the extent that I thought about it. I said, Martha can do it, I can do it. And so at this point, the examiners are marking my thesis now, and I'm awaiting a date for the
You personally separated it, but then they must be there, but I put it there, yes. And I am very grateful for each of you guys being here because it really makes a difference on my last day at the ministry. Officially. My last officially. Yeah, I don't know where the folks are and they were here because we put them here. This was there are two bags actually that he himself opened and separated it. I don't know where they are. What other bags do we have? Maybe could be in one of the boxes, because we have two bags of forks. No, lo pusimos ahí atrás, pero no se ha caído. Sin embargo, no sé dónde están y debieran estar ahí. Él mismo los separó. Well, I don't know what to do. Mira a ver si podemos. I don't know because it was here and nobody else has come. Check inside. Norman, how many of these can I get?
I don't know.
I need some.
I'll have to check. I don't want to.
Because it was there.
And the first one right there, you'll see the first
I don't know
one.
what's going on.
Right now, it's the first right.
Come.
I'm going that side, but let me take this one up here. Going down
Sí,
that
pero vas a
side.
comer un pedacito de cake antes de irte. Vas a comer tu pedacito de cake antes de irte.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that we were able to come. Can you imagine, sir? My main teacher, and you know, when we met at the beginning, we not always smiled to each other. I was scared, but you know, with the passing of time. Yeah. A comer, pues adelante. A disfrutar tu pedacito de cake. Now that.